So I realized I like both keyboards and skateboards, you know, I guess all type of boards. Even made some music about skating. And about a week ago from now, I revisited the street skate spot that's alongside a trail walk. You know, for a little introduction to this video, I'll play a little snippet from the recent album.
Amuse the obstacles my feet soar. I see so many bridges, unknown graffiti covered just like I feel mixed with.
Alright, about time that we get into that session. This time I definitely got more tricks than last time I was here, kind of surprising myself with a couple. Wanted to play them in chronological order, so we'll kind of like unlock the tricks as it goes. And there's no need for any trigger warnings, I don't think, because I was uninjured, thankfully, so you can kind of watch with peace of mind, hopefully. Practice getting the rhythm down for these nose slides, because I wanted to get a super long one across the whole thing, but I'll start with some other stuff, kind of getting warmed up, you know, thawing out the ice on, you know, my legs are frozen, have to warm them up. Okay, so time for this nose slide, kind of sit down maneuver, kind of take a little breath after it. This next one was longer, but still not quite the whole thing, and then I just kind of got distracted with other tricks. Even got an out-of-frame cricket grind. As always, just doing my button mashing, trying to get lines out of things and continue the runs. Shout out these other wheels rolling by, kind of half as many as me, but we're both mechanically powering manual labor. Well, I guess manuals are a different thing, but we're like manually, because it's not automatic. We don't have engines. Okay, I think that makes sense. With these grinds on the upper ledge, it did kind of scare me because I didn't want to fall off, but I thought it looked nice, so I wanted to get this little line, kind of like a flip trick first and then a grind. But the problem is sometimes when you finally land the flip trick first, you might be too tired to do the rest of the line, so you just kind of gotta chill for a second. You gotta chill after being warmed up, so you gotta, a lot of temperatures if you think about it, you know, sip some liquid ice, you know, I love that they vaporized that condensation and bottled it up into some harmful plastics for my consumption. Real nice of them. Just fuel for me to pilot a vehicle that really requires no fuel. In fact, this same water that is good for me actually destroys a board. So I'm glad that the liquid stayed inside of me and didn't get out through my feet and onto the board, except for the sweat maybe because I was exhausted, but thankfully it was blocked by the shoes. And at this point I felt warmed up enough to try another long boy, lengthify that slide, but still not quite holding it as well as I can sometimes. The curve was kind of throwing me off, even though I thought that it would do the opposite of throw me off, which was kind of hold me into the grind, but it's not really that easy of a trick, so kept carrying on. And of course I'm cutting lots of filler and blank space of me falling, they're just kind of, you know, catching my breath or whatever, you know, breath running away from me, gotta catch it. But I wanted to include all the takes of this heel flip to kind of talk through the process, because I got so close on the very first one foot landing, but suddenly lost it. Must have gotten a little too confident, thought that it'd be simpler than it was, because it was try number 6, finally landed on it for 1 second, but got unbalanced. And by that I mean, you know, a gust of wind knocked me off, or, you know, there was a rock or something, there was like a tectonic plate shift right when I landed. Shout out that other biker for encouragement. Yeah, the next take was just a whiff, so it kind of embarrassed that. But hey, 8th try, basically landed, no hand touch, but a little toe barely scraping, little toe on the ground, which in skater terms would mean, you know, probably count for a redo if you're picky, which I'm not always, but I thought I could kind of clean it up a little bit, get it squeaky clean, but the key word is that I thought that I would do that, because I didn't. But glad I kept catching myself and keeping myself safe, but this footage did remind me that I really gotta wear protective gear a little more. Okay, so after 11 takes of the flip, I was over it. Time for some front side flip practices, but spoiler, didn't land one. I thought the ledge might make it easier, but I got a little scared, and I was kind of getting real close, but just not quite clicking. Been in battle for a little bit. Someday I'll add it to my trick book, metaphorically. I don't actually have documentation of all the tricks that I can or can't do, but that would be a cool thing to do, and I would love to add the front side flip eventually. So this tail stall wanted to pause it here because it looked like it was going to be smooth, but it just ended up being a lame looking fall, so I just kind of cut it, made sure nobody saw around me in real life either. Alright, so that was enough of the ledge, trying to jump over a trash can, but kind of make it a delayed skateboard trick. You know, it's if you land on the board somehow, some way, then it's skating. And it's kind of exactly like I ollied the whole thing, you know, wow, ain't that something. And I started getting a little stupider with this indie stalling, this, you know, pop-off indie. But hey, increase the dumbness with a full, no-handed power ollie drop-in. Real sketchy roll away, but plenty good enough for me, didn't really care too much. Now, let's dork around on this bike rack. Wanted some creative tricks here and there, just kind of throwing them around. Hey, I bet you didn't think that land that one, yeah. Alright, so let's get the board through the holes and then try to go back through the other way. And actually, hold up, actually, wait a minute. Let's hop over it, then caveman, and of course, then try it both ways, because we're just having fun. Maybe this bike rack, kind of utilizing the bike rack for the unintended purposes, but hey, it's holding something. It's holding up my ego or my confidence or whatever you want. I don't know. It's also holding up the camera, now it's a camera holder. So wanted to hop up all these big old steps. What is this? A stair step for giants? Anyway, then I had this interaction which made my entire day. Heck, I'm still kind of thinking about it, laughing and chuckling. You can't really hear my response, but I said, hey, I appreciate it, man. Sometimes I can move around on the board, kind of like, but then they drove away and I said, okay, cool, 4 wheels, love that. I didn't even know cars could drive on this road, honestly. I was very confused, but also inspired, because then I got the guts to ollie down, give a little nice leap and bound from the second block, which was still scary, and I was not even about to think about trying it from the top, but yeah, as it goes, can't stop skating till the line ends, which was right there. Cool little crooked stall, then Indy out of it. I was kind of done with the ledge after a quick little POV, if you want to know what it feels like to not land a trick, which sometimes is most of what skating is. But hey, at least if you're practicing, getting better, then that's what it's all about. Now let's try a trick on that tree, the little caveman from alternate angles. Most often, they did have trees back in caveman era, I'm sure, so somebody could probably have done this back then. And most often cavemans are like the left hand holding the nose, but I tried to give it a shot with the right hand to the tail, but I got over it real quick. I didn't care too much. So now to this gap that I had in mind last time I visited here, but I didn't even think about trying it last time because I was real scared, but this time was kind of all jazzed up, at least enough to kind of clear the landing up and take some run-ups. Well, I guess skate ups. I wasn't run. Yeah, I mean, that's still. Maybe I was inspired by that truck man's words, his confidence in myself. That was more than I had. First couple hop downs, I was just getting a feel for it, kicking the board out, not even really trying it. But this fourth take was the first one that I realized that, hey, maybe I can do this. Fifth one, stuck it, slid out. So then I did the next one. So did the next one, but I knew that I was so close. If I could just muster up the courage to commit 100%, the rollaway would be much less painful than a bail would be. Heck, maybe even set up another camera angle for the 7th try, and it felt so crispy landing, cleaned like iron clothes type landing, refreshing sparkling water type beat. Even if I missed the extended line afterwards, I didn't really care because my stoke meter was already overflowing. I didn't, it was, and also I was exhausted. Now I wanted to use the last little bits of my leg strength to drive back home. Then later in the day, did some more side house skating. Nothing too notable, just some fun ramp stuff. And I believe that about concludes the skateboard commentary. I guess we can end with another song snippet to take us out of here. Kind of tie it all together. Put the bolts and nuts onto the board to tighten up the screws of this video. Get the bearings all in order, and kind of halt, kind of power slide to stop making these dumb puns. I'm gonna tail scrape out of here. Cause I hear the words, but they all sound foreign. How did I got a chorus, but no one could convince me. I plead the fifth bit like pennies on 50-50. These damn expenses, but my spirit ain't for rent. Yeah, lost my way, but kept my senses. Yeah, and the hate I bet against it. Break from the brain cells, bars get